Good afternoon, Talking After Dark family. Glad to be back with you after a long hiatus. I hate to say it that I'm definitely committed to the crafts, but I have been so busy in my personal life that I have not had chance to get back to you guys in probably about 3 weeks. I try my earnest to stay consistent and produce videos on a weekly basis, but for the last 3 weeks, that has not been that where my job has been more than demanding. But nevertheless, I think the last time we talked about why is the bench important in relationships. So when I refer to the word bench, I'm talking about what's what the expectations are, what are the hopes, and what are options that are accessible and available to us. So let's call this video the bench. So in most sporting arenas, there's a bench. The bench is usually those people that are not currently in the game, that are not currently on the roster to play. On the roster, but not on the playlist. So the starting lineup is those people who are going to play in the game. And some of the bench members sort of lay wait, and they wait until their turn is to go into the game. So in basketball, you have the sixth man. So you have your five starters, and then you have the sixth man that usually comes in at an appointed time, and usually a point guard. For instance, in football, you have your punters, your kickers, you have your special teams, and all those other guys who are not considered to be the starting lineup, where your offensive line, your defensive line, but all those other players that are not listed on the starting lineup. In baseball, you got your pinch hitters and those kind of things. And but in relationships, we might call that the rebounders, those people who are there in the hopes, having expectations that they may have a chance. And even those who don't think that way or see themselves that way, sometimes it just is what it is. So let's say, for instance, that in your relationship, and it's going well, it's going good, things are happening, but for some reason, things seem to not be as smooth as they used to be. There seems to be a hiccup in the relationship. There seems to be something that's not producing good fruit. Something's going on in the relationship that is not playing up to par, that the expectations or the plays are not the right plays for the situation that the relationship is currently confronted with. So in those terms, the bench would be those people that you probably don't even take a look at, those people that you probably don't give opportunity to, those people that it never even crosses your mind that an opportunity might exist to have a relationship with that person. But I tell you that the bench is important, or the sideline, or those who lay wait for an opportunity to be with you is extremely important, because sometimes because we all have this idea of who we like and who we want to be with and who we prefer. And sometimes we just keep picking the same people, the same type of person all the time, and yielding the same results, failures and non-success. And we wonder why the relationships don't work, because we haven't changed. We haven't changed what we give occasion or opportunity to. We haven't changed our mindsets about what we're interested in or what we like. Not giving much consideration to what's really important, what's the most important thing. Everybody wants somebody with a good income. Everybody wants somebody that looks good or they could be on a scale from 8 to 10. And everybody wants somebody who dresses well and who can string two sentences together. But guess what? I hate to say it, but sometimes that just may not be the best person for you. That just may not be what works for you. Because the person that really likes you and keeps trying to get your attention, that you don't even give the time of day to, and you ask yourself, why are you always alone? Why are you always in these relationships that don't work? Why is it that the people that you choose to be with, they just don't seem to produce good fruit? They just don't seem to last long. But there it is, the guy on the or girl on the other side that maybe doesn't make as much money. Maybe it's only a 7 or 6 or 7 on a scale of 10. Maybe, they don't have the type of job that you want to brag about to your friends or whatever. But guess what they do have? They have an uncanny love for you that just cannot be matched. They have an insatiable appetite for you that's just more severe than a hunger pain. They want you. They just want to be with you. And they accept you with all your faults and all your ills and frills and all that stuff. They just want to be with you. They don't care about any of that stuff. They don't care how much money you make. They don't care what kind of house you live in. They don't care what your address is or what type of car you drive. They just want to be with you. Sometimes we used to hear people say that, find you somebody who loves you more than them. Make sure he or her loves you more than them. Does that really matter? You want somebody to love you for you. They don't necessarily have to love you more than you love them. You guys can love each other equally, or don't even realize that there is an opportunity for love, because we don't usually give the bench a chance. We usually look over those people and pass them by because they just don't fit the scale. They just don't fit the program. These are not the people that we would generally pick to have relationships with. But I can tell you, I have heard stories from people allowing themselves to give some of these sideliners a chance. And when they do, or when they did, they discovered that this was the best decision that they ever made. They discovered that if they had known before that just giving this person an opportunity, it would have just been amazing to them, to their lives and their living. It would have just satisfied so much of their need. It would have taken care of so many empty spaces and filled so many voids. That's why the bench is important. It's good to know that you have options. It's good to know that you don't have to always keep picking the same kind of people. It's good to know that sometimes you can step off the beaten path and accept the fact that there are people out there who want you just for you. They don't care if you wear designer clothes. They don't care if you got Louis Vuitton purse. They don't care if you drive a Mercedes or Volkswagen. They don't care if your hair is natural or you wear it. They could care less. They just want to be with you. So the point of all this is that I've talked to so many people about that are single and out of relationships, but being pursued by other people that they don't see, they overlook, they don't give opportunity to because they're not a 10, or they don't wear the best of clothes, or they don't have the right job, or they don't make $1 million a year, or whatever that number is for you. Instead of thinking so much about what this person makes, think about what you guys make together and what you guys can do together. If he makes $10 or she makes $20 and you make 30, whatever it is, it's not 10. When you put yours together, it's that number. So we have to stop thinking about what can one somebody do for us. We have to see the picture collectively about what can we do for each other. It's about a we-ness. It's about what can you guys do together, not individually, but collectively. It's not about the person wearing designer clothes or being able to string 2 sentences together, because if you really have a heart for this person, you can teach them anything you want. You can teach them how to dress. You can teach them how to hold appropriate conversations. You can teach them how to develop character and status. You can teach them how to be what you need them to be in love, in loving kindness, and showing them and teaching them in such a way that is received and receptive by them, that you can have the ideal person that you've been hoping for and wishing for, but you didn't see it because we don't consider the bench. It's usually people on the bench whose names we don't even know. You don't know their names until they get into the game. You know, we think about are the starters or the starting lineup. But if you think about any sporting event or team, sometimes the starters or the starting lineups have to be changed because the players in the game are just not playing their game. For some reason, they have an off season, an off week, an off month, a week, whatever that might be. So you got to put a bench player in. And amazingly enough, some of the bench players become more and more famous, more and more recognizable, more playful, or better skillful in the craft than the person who was originally in the game. How did that happen? It would have never been known or not known had they stayed on the bench, but because time and opportunity presented itself, that they had an opportunity to get into the game. It's no different in a relationship when we think about the person that's on the side, the outliner that's always been in your face, always been in your ear, always greeted you warmly and always said the kindest things to you and was always the nice guy or the nice girl. Listen, I'm not saying that we have to always go to the bench to be successful. But what I am saying is, if you've been in and out of relationships and you've conveniently dated the same type of person all the time and you've got the same results all of the time, why don't you think like captains of teams think or coaches think that perhaps there's somebody on the bench that can get the job done? You've seen their practice, you've seen their attempts, you've heard their whispers and you've seen their face and now the opportunity presents itself that you could actually give them a chance. You could actually put them in a game and see how well they do, to see if they hold up to the standard, to see if they can do what you need done, to see if they are coachable, to see if they have an act for learning how to move in your circle, how to relate to you the way you want and need them to, and not so much them just learning from you, but you also taking a few notes from them. I tell you that the bench is just a success story waiting to be told. I promise you that it is. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about your status today, where you are, whether you're single or not and still looking. I want you to consider the sidelines or the outliners of those people that have been in your place and your space for a while, for maybe years, and they've always been accessible to you. They always have been available to you. They've always, for somehow, just been dependable. They have proven themselves. They have shown themselves to be consistent about you. But yet, because they weren't the right look or didn't dress the right way or say the right things, or they're coachable. If they're not coachable, then perhaps that's not a consideration at all. But if they're coachable, I tell you that there is such a success story to be told that if you really, really thought about it, if you really invested in that opportunity, in that person, you might find yourself in a relationship of a lifetime. Listen, think about that for a moment and what that looks like or what that could look like for you in your life and how your situation status can be changed to be fruitful and successful. I tell you, I love to hear your stories, and I hope that you're willing to give an opportunity to someone on the bench. And if you do and it happens, even if it doesn't happen, I'd like to know. Share with our audience about that experience, what happened and how you consider to do this thing and what methodologies you use to go about making that happen. I mean, let us know. remember, here we want to be able to comment so that others can see where we are, what we're doing, or what works for us, or what's not working, so they can give some thought to those things, and some of those things that might be useful to them, or some things that perhaps they can avoid. But the only way that happens if you give us the root, the fruit, the information, the things the resources that we need to make those informed decisions. So listen, I love chatting with you guys. I love reaching out and giving you guys just little tidbits of information to think about. I just want you guys to consider, not so much to do this, that, or the other, but to at least consider. I want to continue to open up this door for engagement, for conversations, for feedback, to produce good fruit. I want to thank you for listening, and to continue to listen and look forward to other videos that will come our way. I think that there's a new project that I'm working on that's going to be called Lock and Loaded. Lock and Loaded will be seen on Instagram and Facebook and all those other social outlets that is going to draw people to our page. That's going to help us to increase pump up the volume and give people an opportunity to see where we are and what we're doing as we move forward with Talking After Dark. Thank you for your time and attention. Remember to share, like, and subscribe, and Talking After Dark. Thank you. Have a good evening.